I made a video recently on this, the optoelectronics interceptor, a device from the early 1990s that would basically automatically tune any frequency between 30 MHz and 2.2 GHz the second it heard a transmission. It worked like a close call scanner, but much faster and much more automated, video link below. In that video I said I'd put together a battery pack and take this out and do a demo, but then Steve commented, and, well, £150 later, thanks a lot, Steve. In the interest of honesty, this was paid for by the wonderful people who support this channel via the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description, which I deliberately never mention in any video, except this one. And joking aside, thanks to Steve for the tip. This is the Watson WR5002 VHF UHF near-field receiver, and when I put this into Google after Steve's tip-off, there was really nothing that came up, except for the only one for sale in the UK, which of course I immediately ordered. As of now, there's none left, and this is probably because it's not a new device at all. It's been around for over 20 years. It came from the great guys at Radio World who probably bought this many years ago, and it just so happened I got their last one. So this is basically a more modern version of the optoelectronics interceptor, and I thought that rather than build a battery and take this cherished and fragile piece of my collection of radio oddities out there in the field, I'd just try this instead. So what does it do? It instantly locks on and lets you hear any nearby transmission taking place anywhere between 30 and 900 MHz. The idea being that, like the interceptor, you could turn up at a major police incident or an event that was using two-way radios and instantly hear all of the action. It's constantly scanning the spectrum, and I use that term loosely because it doesn't scan, it just hears a signal when the radio waves from that signal hit it. Imagine it's a cross between a scanner and a frequency counter. You can skip to move to the next signal, or hold to listen to more activity. The proper term for this is a near-field test receiver, and it's designed to be used in close proximity to a transmitter where the near field is the strongest. So, like the interceptor, this was marketed as a bug sniffer or something that could be used to seek out hidden transmitters. It does, however, detect fainter signals from a few miles away. Now, I know that there's many people already typing the comments below, so I'll tell you now that this is in a way obsolete. It has many limitations in today's world of radio. It doesn't demodulate digital transmissions such as DMR, a mode that's eclipsing analog transmissions more and more as time goes on. It doesn't even demodulate AM. It'll pick the signals up, but it won't allow you to hear them. In the early 2000s, when this came out, the police and other emergency services were all analog, so this served more of a purpose. There's also no frequency readout, which I'll come to later. That being said, I did receive some signals on this, and I'll show you these soon. It's basically a metal box with two knobs, 3 sockets, a switch and a button. That's it. On the front is the speaker, auto hold switch and signal strength indicator. On the top is the power and volume knob, the squelch knob, an antenna connector, an audio jack for earpieces or headphones, a power input and a CIV jack. This allows you to connect something like a frequency counter in order to display the frequency this device has locked onto. Inside there's a built-in NiCad battery pack, and it comes complete with a charger and a wideband antenna that's mostly effective on VHF and UHF. Testing with this takes some getting used to. Nowadays, we're not blessed with continuous FM transmissions all over the place to just sniff out and listen to, so what I did was head to a community repeater site. This is the place, although when I was there it was much cloudier and much wetter, and it's home to about 5 VHF analog repeaters which I knew were active enough to get a hit. Rather than stand around with the camera on record holding this in front of it, I hooked up a sound recorder to the output of the Watson and just kept an eye on the signal meter. Here's a couple of examples of what I caught, and I was pleasantly surprised at the quality.
Yeah, no probs. Anyone on the way back into Kirby, please? Yeah, because mine's going in for cameras.
Alright, okay, Les, no worries.
That you, Les, once you tipped off, you're going to see that fella, he's going to do your cameras on you.
Yeah, Roger, I've already spoke to him, thanks, guy. Sheffield.
Go ahead, mate.
Yeah, I've got a lad here in a yellow high up with a white cab, UNG. He's coming to pick a load of stone up, but he doesn't know what he's getting. He said whatever they normally take.
Strangely, I wasn't receiving these repeaters half a mile away, but was receiving faint FM broadcast transmissions from much further away, which I don't quite understand. So I knew after my initial test that this thing works, and quite well, so I kept it in the car and waited for opportunities to hear other things, such as this hospital paging test.
Daily crash test call. Please call 3310 to confirm receipt of call. Daily crash test call. Please call 3310 to confirm receipt of call. Thank you.
Funnily enough, this was coming in from over half a mile away. As you heard, it doesn't discriminate between different signals on the same frequency, so there was some pager breakthrough here. At another repeater site, I also heard some strong DMR traffic, which, as I said, the Watson can't demodulate. So that's the Watson WR5002. I hope it gives you an idea of what interesting devices like the Interceptor and this are actually like. For those disappointed I didn't demo the Interceptor, it would have performed in exactly the same way. I'd just rather keep it safe in the shack so it's preserved for many more years to come. What I do plan to do is get a suitable frequency counter and pair it up with the Watson in the future so we can actually see what frequencies we're picking up.